Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Roastery, the Riverside, and put your hands together for your host, Nick Carroll. You know, one of those nights when anything can go wrong and everything else. Oh dear, for God's sake. Somebody said retirement was easy. I think that's an absolute lie, isn't it? That was the most bizarre start to a comedy night in the 20 years I've been doing stand-up, to be quite honest. So think yourself honoured to be part of that. But thank you very much for your patience. We were going to start at 7:30 because I know, looking around the room, the demographic. What? It's way past some of your bedtimes.
Horlicks.
You're hoping. I hope that's not a reflection on the ladies in the room. That went over everybody's head, didn't it? No. Oh dear. Have I upset the Golden Girls table again? That's what's happening. You'll take that? Yeah, is that okay? She weren't happy with me earlier, were you, when you came in? Had a little go, but that's fine. So welcome to the Riverside. We've been doing the gig at the Roastery for what, past 2 years, I think, up at Quedgley, and we've got some regulars from Quedgley here, so give them a round of applause for actually managing to find. Yeah, totally apathetic, wasn't it? That's about the same level of applause you gave me when I came on, so that's good. So if you've not, well, have we all been to a comedy night before? Anybody not been? Not saying. Well done, that's the correct answer. See, this lady knows she's not been to a comedy night and she's not going to say anything. Unfortunately, she said it under her breath but loud enough for me to hear. So, one of the first things you need to about comedy nights is when a comedian asks you something, say nothing. It won't stop us pressing. Or lie. Oh, it's all coming out. Yeah, okay. So we've got a comedy newcomer and a blatant liar. So just by show of hands, let's just. Oh, actually, sorry, I should tell you what's going to happen tonight. So we've got 2 brilliant acts tonight, and I know we've got 2 acts next. I've just seen the second one comes in, so I'm a lot happier. They're not from Gloucester, so trying to find the Riverside was just an absolute nightmare. I think we need better signage. That's what better signage, and that's what we need at the Riverside. So we've got 2 brilliant acts here tonight. Honestly, they're fantastic. Really delighted they both made the trip, and you're going to enjoy both of them. So we're going to have your first act on. I'm just going to talk to you for about a couple of hours, and then we'll have your first act on, and then we'll have an interval. And then we'll have your second act, and with a bit of luck for the older people in the room, should be done by 9:15. Is that all right? 9:15? All right, 9:30 at a push, go on. Enjoy yourselves, that's great. So, just so we know who's who, are we all from the delights that is our fair city of Gloucester? By way of a show of hands, who's not from Gloucester? Yeah, nobody's going to admit that. Absolutely nothing. So we've got an alarm going off. We've got nobody in from Cheltenham. No. Tension, that always causes tension. Anybody from Stroud? I'm just basically going to go through every place name in Gloucestershire. Foresters, we got any Foresters in? Just raise. We have. Oh, one lady from the Forest. Welcome. Whereabouts are you from?
Elton.
Elton. That's down near West Green there.
That's right. Yeah.
Elton. You live in. Oh, okay. So you sort of come away.
Yeah,
A bit nearer the city. I wouldn't get too close.
Oh no, it's not my
Minsterworth's all right. Are we happy with somebody from Minsterworth being here?
Yeah.
Both of you.
Yeah.
Both. Okay. Sorry, I missed you out, young man. There. And what have you done to your arm there? That looks quite painful.
Operating straight your finger out.
You have an operation, straighten your finger out, and you show me the other finger to what your arm's about. Which one?
The little one.
Did you have that one done at the NHS? Because I would see my alarm's going off now. I'd demand a refund. You went to the Winfield. Oh, got a rich person in. That's.
No, that was through NHS.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay. And has it worked?
I don't know yet, they made the bandage.
So they've got to give you that massive sleeve just for.
Oh, you should have seen it yesterday. Like a football, wasn't it? All banged up.
Okay. I wish I hadn't gone down that route. To be quite honest with you. Oh well. Yeah, I've got nothing on that. To be. There is comedy to be had there, but they're from Elton, and I'm going to leave them alone. They're not.
No, I'm not from now.
Oh, okay, for fuck's sake. Okay. All right, let's get to the bottom of this now. Where are you from?
Westgate Street, Gloucester.
Ooh, Westgate Street. What? Did you hear that? That was the sign of disapproval from.
Probably was.
Yeah, where are you from then? We're going to have a street off now.
Me?
Well, you were booing.
Oh, it's doing that for fact.
Oh, you're doing it for a fact. Okay, it's back to you.
I didn't hear what she said.
No, it wasn't worth listening to. I've got to be honest. It could only be Gloucester, couldn't it? Only be Gloucester. I love our city. I was particularly interested to see what happened in Matson last week with that geezer going off. I thought that was quite amusing. And I don't know if anybody looked at Gloucestershire Live, but the reports in Gloucestershire Live said a burst main led to an astonishing spectacle as thousands of gallons of water jetted onto jetted far into the air, covering properties. Right, thousands of gallons of water. Severn Trent quickly responded by distributing bottled water to those affected. And I thought, they've had enough fucking water, they don't. And then it said, I don't know, if we got any journalists in tonight, I know we've got people who work for marketing, but this was just big in Gloucestershire Live. I've got to be honest, because it said, the community breathed a sigh of relief when water was halted just before 2 o'clock. Resulting in resounding applause from local residents, right? I went on Gloucestershire Live and watched the video. There was 2 people there clapping. Just water, an absolute load of bollocks, absolute rubbish. So this is nice being down at the riverside because you've got everything going on here, haven't you? You've got a crash. They've got high chairs for me to sit in later on. We've got like the gym. You've got the yoga thing. And I was doing a gig in Evesham last week and. I thought it would be nice to see what facilities they've got in Evesham if I wanted to relax. And on the Evesham Facebook page, there was a lady offering holistic yoga and relaxation. And you can go onto it and have a look. And if you go onto her web page, she's got all these little things printed off as to things you can do to help you relax. And I just picked the top 5 her recommendations, how to self-soothe. Number 1, lay down and stretch out your body. Fair enough. Starting upwards, relax your body from head to toe. Oh, that's nice. Number 3, close your eyes for a while. My favourite was number 4, give yourself a hand massage. And my favourite was number 5, let yourself cry if you feel it coming. And you could get all that for between £35 and £60. So that's the cheapest hand massage I'm ever going to have. But this is nice, this gig, because not every gig's like this. I did a gig in Swansea a couple of weeks back, and I think the MC had overdosed on Live at the Apollo, because I was backstage waiting to go on, and I heard him out front. He was like, "Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to go wild, I want you to clap your hands, stamp your feet, holler, raise the roof, as we welcome to the stage to bring the fantastic Nick Hill." And I came out from behind the curtains, and there was 4 people sat there. I thought, well, but to be fair, I did what any professional comedian would do in that stage. You know, I just said, "This is completely unplayable," and walked off. I didn't know. And we basically, it was just a chat. And in the front row, there was a grandmother, the grandson, and the mother, and both ladies were visibly upset. I was like, what's going on here? "Oh, well, he's going in the army, and we're really worried about him." "Okay, well, what are you worried about?" "Well, he might be sent to the front line, and he might have to fight, and he might get killed." So I said to the lad, he was a good-looking kid, I said, "Are you worried about being sent to the front line?" He went, "No, I'm just going as an administrator, so I'll be absolutely fine." And I said, "Well, there you are, grandmother, he's going as an administrator, he's going to be fine. That said, he's a pretty good-looking lad, so I think he's more in danger of an assault from the rear, to be honest." I've got to be honest, that joke went down far better when I've done it before. And then the guy sat behind them. I said, "So what's your name, mate? What's your story?" He said, "Oh, my name's Roger Moore." I thought, "Oh, fantastic. Comedy gold." And I was just about to launch into him when he said, "I've got mental health issues. I've no idea what I'm doing here." So I thought, just better leave you alone, mate. And then I was doing a gig in a little village up in the Cotswolds a couple of weeks back, and I just went on. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's lovely to be here in Ashton Keynes. And straight away, this woman at the back put her hand up. She said, "Oh, I know it's spelled Keynes, Keynes, but here in the village, we prefer to pronounce it Keynes. Is that okay?" Well, no, that's absolutely fine. Got to be honest, doesn't make you sound like a bit of a pretentious cant. That's spelled C-A-N-T, but I prefer to pronounce it, and I've not been asked back, I'm not sure why. But to be fair to her, it was pretty good advice, because the following week I was doing a gig in Lechlade. Again, I did that joke in Swansea, and they just looked at me blankly and went, "Yeah, you've got no idea where Lechlade is, have you?" And I have to say Lechlade, because obviously there might be people in here thinking, "No, I don't get it either." Heckled by a phone. So I've been doing stand-up, well, I don't know, 20 odd years, and I've got to be honest, I probably had my best year in 2023. I went to Leicester Comedy Festival and I entered a competition called the Silver Standard, which is basically a competition aimed at the over 55s. There's no upper age limit, so I've got to be honest, backstage it was like God's waiting room for comedians. And one act, just before he was going to go on, he was slumped in a chair, his eyes were closed, and we were looking at him. And somebody said, "What do you think? Is he asleep or dead?" I said, "I don't know." And somebody said, "Well, do you think we should wake him?" I was like, "No, don't wake him." And they said, "Was that because it might give him a shock?" I went, "No, but if he misses his spot, it'll increase our chances, won't it?" So we left him. And I went on, got through the heat, got to the final, and I won. I phoned my wife and I said, "You'll never guess, after 4 years of trying, I've only gone and won." And she's like, "Oh, that's fantastic. What have you won?" Because obviously she is from Mumbai. And I said, I've won a trophy." "Right. Anything else?" "No, just a trophy." And I'm back home 4 hours later showing her the trophy. She said, "Well, that's lovely, but have you won anything else?" I said, "No, I told you that." "They've been on their website." "Oh, shit, have you? What about the £500 cash prize they're offering?" I was gutted, right, because I had that lined up for something special. She said, "What have they told you all through our marriage?" I don't know, there's been so many things it's hard to remember. She said, "Never lie." And she's right, you know, you shouldn't lie. But she went on a cruise last April with her friend, and she phoned me on the Wednesday. "You all right?" "Yeah, I'm fine, thanks." "Are you missing me?" I remember what she said, "Never lie." So I was like, no. Absolutely not. She started clutching at straws. "Well, I bet the dog's missing me." I did lie a little bit. I said, "Yeah, of course he is." He wasn't. He was fucking loving it. He was sleeping on my bed. I was feeding from the table. We were down the pub. We went and got tattoos, well I did. It was the best week of our lives, I've got to be honest with you. So, I think, because we were late starting, we need to get your first act on, don't we, really? Listen to that excitement! Oh yeah, if we must, yeah, if we've got to listen to him. I've known this young man, I don't know, more years than I can remember. He's brilliant, he's lovely, I think you're going to love him. Please, give it up, and clap till he gets actually to the microphone. Don't do what he did for me, just stop halfway there. Welcome to the stage, the very lovely Pierre Hollins!
Good evening, Gloucester!
Good evening.
Nice. Well done for finding your way here. I mean, you're locals, right? So you know. Are you all from Gloucester?
Yeah.
You are? Yeah, because nobody from our town knows how the fuck to get here. I drove 5 times around that roundabout and I knew there was a tunnel. I knew there was a tunnel. Nick even drew us a map. He drew a fucking map. I couldn't find it. Anyway, so pleasure to be here. Pleasure to be here, friends. Are you all obviously active members of the sports club?
Yeah.
None of you at all.